Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Analysing the Scottish Premiership. Today we're going to look at Hibs fresh off their Edinburgh Derby defeat last night. I do think they made some really good deals in the window. Obviously sold Kieran Bowie for a fee initially reported to be around €6 million with some add-ons on it, and they spent that money, I think, relatively well. They bulked their squad out and I think they've added some players that could add real quality to the first team going forward for the rest of the season. So let's just jump straight in. The first signing that came through the door was Owen Eldings, a 19-year-old striker, comes from Sligo Rovers. Looks as if he's great potential looking at the footage. Scores all types of goals. He scored from range, dribbling from his own half. Just really smart striker finishes within the box. You can see how he ranks in terms of League of Ireland strikers there. For the metrics, really high in terms of goals, XG, assists, non-penalty goals, progressive passes, and key passes as well. So he can create chances, also scored them himself. Not played too much so far, didn't come off the bench last night as well, but I do think he's a player with really good potential and it'd be interesting to see how he gets on the rest of the season. A player that would be familiar to some fans would be Kai Andrews, also joined on loan from Coventry, who was at Motherwell the back end of last season. Didn't play too much for Motherwell, but I remember him playing at Ibrox and being impressed with him. You can see he ranks well in terms of progressive runs and aerial duels won there. Quite an aggressive player in the midfield. I don't think it was his best game in the Edinburgh Derby last night, but again, he impressed against Rangers at Easter Road. Just with how aggressive he was really positive to get on the ball, looking to drive forward, looking to make those forward passes and try and break the line. I think he's a player that Coventry rate really highly, so I can't see this being anything more than a loan move, but given what he showed in spells at Motherwell last season, what he's showed so far in a Hibs top, I think he could be a really good signing, especially bulking up the rest of the squad for the season. Then Hibs get really busy towards the end of the window. A signing I think could be a masterstroke is getting Dane Scarlett on loan from Spurs. Surprised they let him come to the Scottish Premiership. I would have thought they would have tried to loan him out to a Championship side. He did spend some time on loan at Oxford at the beginning of last season, went back to Spurs for the second half. But when he was there at Oxford, you can see some of the metrics there he ranked really well in, especially goal conversion to show he's a clinical striker. Got 4 goals in appearances there, wasn't always a starter, a few appearances off the bench, a few appearances playing out wide as well, but he's looked really positive. Again, someone I don't think was great last night in the Edinburgh Derby, but he did look really positive against Rangers, and Hibs fans have been raving about him a wee bit for his performance last midweek. Player with great potential. He's only got 1 year left in the summer after his loan expires at Spurs, so I don't know if they're planning on extending that. But it would be something that would be interesting to see if Hibs could try and get him permanently. I do think he's got great potential. He played some Europa League minutes at the end of last season for Spurs. I think without having to go and get the surgery that he did, he may have played more minutes, but that's just great news for Hibs that they've managed to get him in and get him for at least 6 months. Pelik Passlack was someone else that came in. Great experience in the Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2. Can play as a right back, plays a right wing back. You can see in the metrics that he does rank a lot better in the attacking side of it. I do think he was decent last night. I've seen a lot of Hibs fans criticising his performance, but you look at the data there, and defensively, that is kind of the weak side of his game. I spoke about this Jordi Altina yesterday when covering Hearts. It's the same type of player. If you're going to be on the front foot, you're going to looking to create loads of chances, then he's going to be good. But if you're asking him to do a lot of defensive work and mainly focus on defending, I don't think he's the best player to have in there and the best option. But again, if you're looking to dominate a game, I think he's a good option to have. He's a good crosser of the ball, decently athletic, great experience came through at Dortmund, and he's got Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2 experience. So one that I think could be a smart signing. Moving on to the final two, Ante Shuto, you can see the data there is ranked against wingers, but I do think he's going to play up top for Hibs. That is where he came on last night. He's already scored a brilliant header against Dundee United to get them the win late on. Really aggressive player. He had a few fouls when he came on last night, so he presses really aggressively, puts himself about. Strong player, athletic. I think he'll be a good foil for someone like Martin Boyle, even if he's coming off the bench or if he's starting with Dane Scarlett, who I'd imagine will start most of the time, and then you maybe interchange Boyle and Shuto. But I do think he's the type of player that can score goals in this league just with how aggressive he is. He's not going to get bullied by defenders. He's going to put himself about, put himself in good positions, and he is really good in there. Hibs do put a lot of crosses in. They've got a lot of quality out wide, so he can really thrive on that if you get him those chances within the box. Then Minash Garananga, the last one to come in, comes on loan from Copenhagen for the last 6 months of the season. Hibs did try and set a buy option, but they couldn't come to an agreement. They signed for Copenhagen for around €4 million when he joined, when he came from Belgium. Good data there for Copenhagen. He's not played a lot of minutes in the time that he's been there. And I think he was quite shaky last night. I did think he looked good prior to that. I don't think a lot of Hibs players had their best game in the Derby last night. So just give him time. He did come off with an injury. So we need to see how bad that was, but I do think he could offer similar to what Bashiri offers. Hopefully, not as erratic as Bashiri was a couple of years ago. If you manage to get him playing at the level Bashiri's playing at now, then Hibs could have a really solid defence. Then we move into the outgoings. The big transfer saga was obviously around Kieran Bowie. Reports of Rangers and Celtic being interested Premier League clubs, but he did end up going to Verona. Transfer market have the initial fee set at €6 million. Obviously, some add-ons there as well, so it was interesting to see how much that ends up getting Hibs. And then he's already made his debut there, so we'll look forward to see how he gets on, especially from a Scotland perspective. Dylan Levitt wasn't really getting much game time, especially with Barlaser kind of coming into the team and staking his claim there. And then Josh Mulligan's obviously been a mainstay in there as well. So Levitt hadn't been getting many minutes and he leaves to Leighton Orient on a permanent transfer. Junior Hoylett as well, a player that had done really well since coming to Hibs. I think a few maybe thought he was coming to the end of his career when he joined Aberdeen, then moving to Hibs as well. But he done really well at both clubs. I don't think either can have any complaints, but he's left to go to Swindon in League Two to get some more first team football. And one that surprised me is Clegy, who was the club's record signing in the summer, leaving on loan to Randers for the rest of the season. I thought with Bowie going, he would step into that and try and stake his claim to be the main striker. Obviously, they played around $1 million for him in the summer, and I do think he's looked decent, but he's not really been given as much chance as probably he would expect, and that's why he's went on to Randers in Denmark. That's really all for his business this window. I think they've recruited really well. After getting the Bowie money in, they spent a bit. Apparently, again, according to transfer market, around 500k on Shuto, 400 on Eldon, and 200k on Pass, like with the rest of the deals being loans. So they have put a bit of that money back into the club, and I think they do look a strong side. I've said it previously for a few of the players in this video. I don't think it was their best performance of the season last night. I think Hibs will be absolutely fine going forward. Just need to get these players settled in and get them up to speed with the rest of the players. What do you think, Hibs fans? Did you enter the transfer window stronger than you left it? Do you think you got enough money for Bowie? Do you think it was a good deal for the club? And what do you make of the new signings? Who are you most excited to see more of? Again, if you've enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day.